Hello and welcome to Cover 2 TV. I'm back. No one noticed I disappeared. You had a nice little chat about why I wasn't there last week. It was my father-in-law's birthday. I did enjoy it. Thanks for talking about me. It's always good to be on your mind. Steve isn't with us. Don't know why, I haven't spoken to him, but Jenno is here to join me, and I can't wait, to be honest with you, because we get to talk about one of the games of the season, nay, the game of the season, and we get to talk about one of the games of maybe the decade of all time, because the Rams beat the Chiefs, Jenno, by 54 points to 51 points. Now, just before we get into it, I haven't been so happy with the scoring side of things this year. I think there's too much scoring, generally speaking. But my word, did I enjoy that game of football.
Yeah, that was Everton. That was Liverpool versus Newcastle in the 90s. That was the prestige of Chris Nolan films. That was Hagler Hearns. That was the best thing ever. Just Everton. That was Rocky IV. It was just the best way.
It's butter on bread.
Alright, let's not go too far.
Okay. What am I doing? You know what? I got sucked into it. I got swept up. It's nearly Christmas. Yeah. And I went too far. I'm sorry.
We've had the early Christmas. We had all this hype about this game. Is it going to be the best ever? What's it going to be with these two incredible offenses? You got the old school of Andy Reid, the new school of Sean McDermott. You got Patrick
McVay even.
McVay, yeah, that's... Sorry.
There's a big mistake to make, to be fair. Let's just say that would not be a McDermott offense.
Kind of ruined me flow there as well.
You were like rapping almost. They're expecting you to turn up on Don't Flop.
Nah, that was... Yeah, we've had that Don't Flop talks. Maybe 10 years ago. But yeah, it was just... this game had all this hype, and then we had the issue with it getting moved from Mexico to LA. How would that affect it? We've then just saw the best game. Because we saw what modern day defense in the NFL is going to be, and it's going to be just creating...
What do you mean, bend over?
No, but it's going to be creating these incredible... Because when we were saying they're playing well, it was just creating incredible moments that can change games, and ultimately it's a defensive play that ends
You're right, it's not a consistency to being a great defence. It's a player in a moment. It's Aaron Donald getting his 2 sacks and stripping the ball, and then what's his name, Samson Abukum, picking the ball up. It's the interceptions. It is, you're right, and we've spoken so often over the years about that Patriots defence and bend don't break and all that, and there was a lot of breaking going on.
It broke in the Super Bowl very badly.
Yeah, but equally, those standout moments are why the Rams won.
Yeah, that's it. It's all about creating more turnovers for your defence than the opposition does. And that's what we saw. I mean, in the end, do we want to start from the beginning, or do we just want to go
whichever you want to do, mate? Let's just go with it.
We'll just go with it. Like we've been talking about, Marcus Peters is having a bad season. You know, the guy who got jettisoned by the Chiefs, and everyone's like, well, isn't he a good player? And he's been terrible on the Rams. He's getting picked on constantly. And then when it's the 2-minute drill, Mahomes throws Donald in his face. Who was there to make the pick with 2 minutes to go? It was Marcus Peters, which should have been the game-ending pick, but it wasn't.
No, and it was just... I turned on Game Pass. I couldn't stay up for it. I've got 2 young kids, and I'm up at like about an hour and a half after the game would have finished. So I started watching it this morning. I didn't know the score, and finished watching it this afternoon. And I was looking at it when it came up, and it was like 3 hours 48. And I was like, well, there's not going to be a lot of running going on in this game. And it almost spoils it that sometimes the Game Pass, even just seeing the time. I was thinking the whole way through, I was right, there's not a lot of running, but this is going to end up in overtime in some way, shape or form. As it turns out, the fourth quarter lasted about 6.5 hours, because everything either went 75 yards for a touchdown, it was returned for it was an interception. There was not much of anything other than let's just launch the ball really far and see how we could go, but it was thoroughly enjoyable and really, really exciting. And I'm going to throw my neck out on the line here and say that Tyreek Hill is the best player in football. Non-quarterback.
I'm not sure about that, but one thing he is he's so fast. He's like a Madden cheat code. It's just like you give him all the speed stats, he can catch it. I mean, Sam Shields just couldn't handle him. I don't know why you're going one-on-one with Tyreek Hill anyway. I don't understand that defensive choice. I mean,
Bugger was loving that, wasn't he? Did you hear him earlier on in the comments? And he's like, Wade Phillips has told us that Sam Shield can go and match him up. Can someone tell Wade Phillips that he can't? And then he's like, and it happened again. He's like, Can someone tell me, Philip? And he was laughing his head off because he just found it funny. Like, there's no one in the league that can keep up with him.
No one
even Cooks can't keep up with him.
Yeah, exactly. I think you need to put press man coverage on him. I know he's going to come off the line of scrimmage, but you need to get some hands on him. And then when he goes over the top, your safety's got to be there. I know they've got to take other options away. I know they've got other weapons, but it's just, you can't be getting done with 75-yard touchdowns. Or maybe you can. Maybe the option is let the Chiefs score the explosive plays so you get the ball back instantly and get a chance rather than letting the clock go.
I must admit, the one thing that really surprised me about this game, and it was the fact that Gurley wasn't used too much. I mean, he had 12 carries, 55 yards, averaging only 4.6. Now, I say only 4.6 because it's Todd Gurley. You know, he's got the most yards from scrimmage and he's going up against the passer and Pat Mahomes, who's got the most touchdowns on the year and got the most yards as well. Now, that's the first time since 1970 merger that actually the most scrimmage yards is going up against the guy with the most passing yards and touchdowns ever. Did you know that?
No, that was new stuff for me.
There you go.
Someone's been hitting the R Google.
Thank you, NFL app.
Yeah. I was, this is interesting because me and Steve spoke about it and I said, well, the way to beat the Chiefs, the Patriots, have put the blueprint out and it's run the ball, it's keep them off the field and it's eat up the clock. Yeah. And we were talking about how we think this is going to be a 25 run game for Todd Gurley. And he just ignored that and went, nah, fuck that. We're going to match you blow for blow. It did remind me, do you remember the scenes in Rocky where they go round for round and you just see the punch to punch? I was really looking for that gift last night and couldn't find it. It was so annoying me.
I can imagine it would. The mad thing is, it felt like he was... It actually felt like, I don't know whether he was a bit injured or something, because there was a series where he was completely taken out for, is it Brown, their backup running back? And it was at the point of the game, I think it might have been second quarter or something, I was thinking to myself, why is Gurley not in here, like, you know, first down, second down, third down, why has he missed an entire series? And now I don't know if anything's come out to say, only just finished the game before we started filming, because, you know, more important to watch the game than read the news around the game. But that's what crossed my mind as I was watching the game, and to only see him have 12 carries, looking at the way that he was running, it didn't look like he was injured, but I wondered if they were preserving him slightly. I remember like thinking, I think it was like the second quarter or something, he was out and I was like, I wonder why Todd Gurley's not in this, because even on third downs, I mean, Gurley's been proven that he can catch out the backfield. And he's a great blocker as well. He's a great blocker, and then you're just thinking, wouldn't you show him anyway, just to, you know, as a decoy at least? But it completely slipped my mind as this game went on, because it was just one explosive play after another explosive play. What we did see is people were talking about maybe what would the Cooper Cup with him being gone for the season, what we see there. We just saw Reynolds fill in and do the exact same thing. It was next man up, we're going to stick to our offense, this is what we do, and it just came third than Reynolds. So I don't know what's going on with Gurley, but I think there was that many other explosive plays. I quickly forgot that he didn't play until you mentioned it again to me. Yeah, it's absolutely mad. That Reynolds was brilliant, actually. And Goff himself was superb, you know. 31 of 49, 413 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, obviously loses 2 fumbles. Compare that to Pat Mahomes, who went 33 of 46, 478 yards, 6 TDs, 3 interceptions, though, and 2 fumbles. And that was the story of the game. That's what split the teams at the end of it. I mean, 54-51, it's fucking scandalous. It's fucking ridiculous, but it was so good to watch. Now, it was coming into this game, as we're coming towards the end of the game, there's one thing I want to see, and I want to see Pat Mahomes get the ball, needing to drive down the field in the 2-minute drill. This is where the best quarterbacks make the name. This is why Tom Brady is the greatest of all time, because everyone knows 2-minute drill, he's marching down that field in the biggest game and winning. Aaron Rodgers, we know he's somehow going to throw a Hail Mary and win. Or Mike McCarthy's going to punt. Yeah, Mike McCarthy's going to Mike McCarthy and get fired. Please fire him. Actually, don't. That's quite funny to know, Steve. Please don't. And it just looks like Rodgers is getting dead pissed off, and maybe he'll take you. Or fire him and hire Marvin Lewis. Defo. If there's any option, can we please do that? Marvin Lewis to Green Bay. Let's make it grand. But yeah, what the point I was anyway making is, that's where the money is, and I think we saw that Patrick Mahomes, for all the talent he's got, he had 2 shots at it, and he threw 2 interceptions. I know there's pressure in his face, but my thinking is, not that he's not going to be great, but that's where he is. That's where you see the rookie rawness. Yeah. Well, not It's his first season.
Basically, it's just rookie rawness, and that's what we saw. That's what he needs to learn. It's that 2-minute drill.
This is the thing, though, Jenno. He hasn't needed to learn that so far, so this game will be good for him. You know, he's come up against a tough game against New England. They ultimately lose that game. He's going up against one of the other top offenses in the league, probably maybe third best offense in the league behind, I'd say, the Saints, the Chiefs, and then it's probably the Rams for me personally. But what you've got to remember is they're blowing teams away. It's his first season as a starter, so when's he going to learn this?
Well, no,
now's the time, because you get into playoff territory and he doesn't know what he's doing, then you're out.
Yeah,
straight away. So and you're not having a go at him, and I understand that. But equally, this is all part of his development. This will make him a better player, just like I think he was a better player after the Patriots loss.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm saying this is a learning experience for him. I mean, he's had his first attempt at trying to run the last final 2 minutes to win his game, and he come up short. That's fine. And
he's also going against the best defensive player in football.
I mean, they all talk about why Michael Jordan was so good at last second shots to win games, because you say, well, you miss every shot you don't take. So then he's gonna have that learning experience, and that's only going to do him well later on. But I just mean there is that little sign that there's still room to improvement. There's still places for Mahomes to go.
Of course, and I think everybody would agree with you there, and there has to be, because he can't be the finished product. You know, Tom Brady took 15 years to get to the point where he had almost complete mastery of the position, and he's the greatest of all time. And it took him that long. This lad has all the talent in the world to go and maybe be one of these guys. The next coach is going to be a really big thing for him. If they can move on from Andy Reid in a few years' time, he's getting on a bit now. He can probably coach for a bit longer. He looks like he's reinvigorated with Mahomes at quarterback. He's got that offense. The offense knows exactly what it's doing. It's the way in which they move the pieces, though, isn't it? I would say personally, and I don't know whether you agree with this, I think the Rams have got better pieces, better pieces. So I think they've got Hill, they've got Hunt, outstanding. They've got Kelsey, outstanding. But behind that, I actually think the Rams have got better depth. I think, you can't really compare Cooks to Hill, because I do think Hill's better. But equally, no one can keep up with Cooks either. You've got Cooper Kupp, although he's down injured now. Woods is massively underrated. You maybe don't have the tight end.
You do have Sammy Watkins, though, in the Chiefs. So that's your second. You do have Sammy Watkins, and
he's all right at throwing a block on a bubble screen or something as well.
And even Connolly's not a bad wide receiver. I think he gets sometimes lost in that offense.
You've got Todd Gurley as well.
But yeah, I mean, it's good. I would actually argue the Chiefs have got better weapons. I would, but I think depth's the key there. I do think that Rams have got more weapons. They've got maybe less explosive weapons, but they've got more of them. So that. What would suit Jared Goff more, I think, is I don't think he throws it effortlessly. It's like a beautiful throw. Don't think he can throw it anywhere near as hard or as fast as Mahomes.
Agreed.
But that's what I was thinking about Goff. I was like, if that was the 2-minute drill and Goff was given it to win the game, I think he would have won the game.
Yeah, I think you're throwing sidelines. I think 2 throws straight down the middle in that last sort of thing, and you're thinking, all right, I get it, but you're having to burn a timeout here. Tom Brady doesn't do that. Aaron Rodgers doesn't do that. Jared Goff probably doesn't do that, channel.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. I'm looking at Goff, and I watched this game going, this is potentially the 2 best quarterbacks going on. It's going to be the Manning-Brady rivalry of the next 10 years. That's the way I was kind of looking at it. It's like we've been looking to who is going to be the next quarterback, and we've a lot of people who've just haven't quite hit the heights. Your Matt Stafford, your Matt Ryan, those type quarterbacks who we know are good, but they're not top level. Whereas these two that right now in the NFL got the potential to be those two that go for the next stories rivalry. So that's why I was watching. I was like, so who's going to be the better out of these two? I think right now it's good. Right now, Goff, just because he seems to have that mastery of an offense. But obviously Mahomes has all the abilities in the world, so it's going to be interesting to see. So which one do you think will end up going down as the better quarterback?
That's such a difficult question, because I think Goff will win more.
Yeah.
I think you might be talking about Mahomes as a Brett Favre type of generational talent, but makes the mistakes ultimately in the big games sometimes, and that's a ridiculously early call on Pat Mahomes, having seen him play 11 games in the NFL ultimately, or 12, sorry, if you include the one from last season. So I know I've got my dick on the table here, and it could be, you know, quite easily chopped off, which I don't want to happen. But I do think Goff.
You got enough kids, mate.
I definitely do. I do think probably Goff, because it feels like, you know, when a quarterback gets to that point where they're just going to take what the defense gives you, it feels like Goff is going to do that, and Mahomes is going to force it.
Yeah.
Where do you stand?
I think Goff, because I think when the quarterbacks get paid, you then start having to use wide receivers that you got out the trash bin, like the Patriots have to, because quarterback gets all the money. I think when it comes to that, as good as Mahomes is, if no one can catch the ball, can he, even though he'll be able to make electrifying plays, will he be able to consistently move offenses? And I think Goff's more set up to do that by using, like, you know, the next man up mentality, and
the scheme probably as well will help. The
scheme, and then also Goff's going to have a massive advantage, and Sean McVay's not going anywhere. Whereas, as you just said, Andy Reid's 60. How long is Andy Reid going to last as an NFL head coach? Because it's a very high pressure and stressful job. As much as he loves it, he's not a man in the best of health, naturally. Like, there's a physical thing that we can clearly see. He's not Pete Carroll. He's in, like, who's 74 and looks 50. You know what I mean? He's not that kind of fella. So I think Goff right now is set up to be the better quarterback, but we might be talking about perhaps Mahomes being the most talented quarterback of all time. Kind of like the argument I have now with Steve about Brady versus Rodgers. Brady's the best quarterback of all time. Rodgers couldn't be the most talented. I think we might have that discussion.
Yeah, I think so. And what it will come down to ultimately is it'll come down to rings, as it always does, and maybe Goff will have more. And you know what it feels like, and again, stupid early call on this type of stuff, but McVay seems like a coach that anyone would want to play for. Andy Reid's got that about him, don't get me wrong, because I think you're gonna be in a really uplifting sort of offense, but I also feel like McVay will have everybody bought into the team such that when Goff's contract comes around, he might not go for the biggest offer because he might just want to play with McVay for a few more years. In the same way that, you know, Favre was disappointed that Holmgren left him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like Goff will be like, I've had another coach and I didn't enjoy that. I'd like to stay for you, and if it means I'm going to take a little bit less
discount. I mean, again, that's what Brady's been doing for years. The hometown. That's why you've never heard Tom Brady be the highest paid player in the NFL, because he takes those hometowns, because he knows the best place to succeed. The best place to succeed is at the Patriots with what they've got. So yeah, I think he will take a hometown discount, but I still think that does mean you have to be able to throw to guys that are just another guy.
But that's where the scheme comes in, isn't it? I suppose, isn't it? Okay, well, we'll move on then. Talking about just another guy. Oh, that's harsh. That is really harsh. I'm so sorry. Baltimore Ravens quarterback this weekend, just gone. They won, I think it was 24-21, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Lamar Jackson comes in. First proper NFL start as a quarterback. Goes 13 of 19 for 150 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. You might read that and think, or listen to that and think, oh, it wasn't a very good game, was it? But then he had 27 rushing attempts for 117 yards. Bit mental.
Mm-hmm.
We were expecting him to run the ball a lot. 27 times though.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting 27 rushes.
Double the amount of rushes Gurley got in the game against the Chiefs. More than.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost unheard of. I'm not even sure Kaepernick at his prime was rushing 27 times, or even RG3 for that matter. But I think what we saw with Lamar Jackson is what we thought we'd see. He's a running quarterback. We've seen that they've struggled to run the ball now since Ray Rice knocked out his wife. They have not been able to run the ball, the Ravens, and it's been their issue. It's been that problem, because Joe Flacco without a running game, he's not a dink and dunk quarterback. No. He's a big arm quarterback who you need to have a good running game so he can throw it deep on play action, and they haven't been able to get it. But using the option with Lamar Jackson and this is why I told you to write his name down.
Gus Johnson, was it?
Is it Johnson?
Gus Edwards, sorry.
I was thinking, isn't it Edwards? Yeah, with Jackson and Edwards finally gave them that running game that the Ravens have been needing. And as we've said, if you're going to try and play good defense in the NFL, you must have an elite running game. And that's how they've kind of finally manufactured a running game, which was good enough to beat Marvin Lewis.
Yeah, 232 rushing yards from just those two. Throw another 18 in from Alex Collins as well. 250 yards on the ground. Gus Edwards came from absolutely nowhere. He did his 115 yards and a touchdown on 17 carries. Is that the? Do you think we'll just see this now, or do you think Alex Collins has a chance of getting back in?
I think Alex Collins is just going to be a role player now. I think he's going to be a bit more of the bruiser because they just looked much more faster. Just a lot faster using Edwards and Lamar Jackson. I mean, there's some plays there. Lamar Jackson, at one point, he was literally getting sacked by two people, sandwich sacked, and he somehow got out of it. And he seemed to tackle each other. It was great.
Okay.
And then missed his throw.
Question for you. How long is Lamar Jackson's NFL career going to last?
If it's like this, 5 years, if that. Yeah. Basically.
And is that a good thing? Is that a good thing for the Ravens? They've not got the roster for a short cycle at the moment and a Super Bowl run.
Well, the way I see it is, if you're going to draft Lamar Jackson, if you're going to have a run-first QB, then you have to just accept they're not a QB for 15 to 20 years. They are, at best, you might get them healthy for 10 years. And all you can do is try and limit the reps at every opportunity. And maybe try and limit the runs to the playoffs. Try and get there without running until you get to the playoffs. And then unleash them, because it's not sustainable. You will get injured. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo ruined his knee for doing a stupid sideline move. It's not sustainable to play that way. So unless you want to bank on it and you really want to go for it, and you've got someone behind him who can just do the same offense, so having RG3 as the backup makes perfect sense. It is one of the few landing spots where if someone said they signed Colin Kaepernick tomorrow, I'll go, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. But outside of that, I just think it's not sustainable. But it's what Jim Harbaugh did, and that's how we tried to get the San Francisco 49ers over the hump. He got rid of Alex Smith, who was the most mediocre quarterback going, and then just went, right, we're just going to run it with this guy, Colin Kaepernick, who... For
a few weeks at the end of the year, not all season.
Yeah, you're not going to know that he can't throw the ball, because there's just going to be not enough tape on it. It wasn't until after a year and a bit people kind of went, oh, Kaepernick can't throw, has no touch, he can just throw it as hard as he possibly can, and that's his only ability and run. So, it can give them a good run this season, maybe next season, but then I don't know where this family ends up with the Ravens.
No, I think if there's nothing wrong with a little bit of short-term viewing, as I'm sure Oakland Raiders fans will probably agree with me this season.
I think they're sitting there going, no, the long-term's the way forward.
Well, they have to convince themselves of that, though, Jenno, otherwise they're literally not getting out of bed in the morning at the moment. But it feels very, very risky to me to go out and listen, for any head coach to go out and get a running quarterback, it feels very, very risky, because if there are players who are available who can lead your offense for 15 years and you get 5 years of them or whatever on the rookie contract, and you can build something with them, I'm not even sure they'll last 5. You can't possibly tell me between now and the end of the season he's going to have between 20 and 30 carries a game. That's crazy. That's crazy.
That felt like to me that was like, we're just going to unleash him to this week. I don't think we'll see that next week, but I think that'll be telling if we do. If we see that next week, that's basically them saying, we're using our QB like a running back. We're just going to use his best abilities, and we're just going to ride this wave and see where it takes us.
My issue with this, right, is, and maybe it's more of a thing, you know, you're going to bring someone down, the defense. They're going to have to start accounting for the quarterback, which is fine. That opens up the passing game. But is he a good enough passer to be able to hit an open man? Because from what I saw, I didn't think he was very good.
He made some okay throws, some sidearm throws, which I don't really want. They're impressive, we don't want to see them, because then that's an issue about mechanics, but which I'm not really going to go into because I'm not a mechanic expert. But his interception I felt was bad. I thought that was a bad interception. He threw it straight to it. There was a guy open, but he had no touch and he threw it like a dart to the Bengals. I think it was a linebacker, and that was an issue. And that was a big worry, because the guy was open. It just had to be a touch throw over. He needs to arc it. So we're going to have to see, can he throw it accurately enough? Because he's not that big of a... Like, He's not Cam Newton.
No.
I'm always about this, that Cam Newton's a different breed of quarterback. He's like 6'5" and built like a tight end. Lamar Jackson isn't. He's a lot more slight, so he's more sustainable to those hits. It's going to be a bigger issue for him.
Okay, talking about big issues, I had a big issue this weekend, Jenno, and that was the Khalil Mack issue. I think a lot of teams and fans are running into the Khalil Mack issue. I now officially hate John Gruden and hope he fails miserably in the Raiders.
You were his one supporter as well.
I was literally his one supporter, and fuck you, Gruden, because why did you put him in our fucking division? Why do I have to see that man twice?
He was so determined as well. He wanted to go send him to the Packers and then went to the Bears.
It's like... Oh my God, if he went to the Packers, man. That would have been the stuff of nightmares. But it's bad enough. He's made the one team that you could rely on in the last 5 years to be shite, the best team in our division. He is an absolute game wrecker. There's not a play that goes by where he's not up in someone's fucking grid, fucking shit up. I mean, it's ridiculous. Forced fumbles, sacks, strips, tips. Fuck off, Mac, you know what I mean? You're just being a bellend now. Stop being a fucking show-off. Nobody likes a fucking show-off, and Gruden, fuck you too. There was no question there, Jenna, but I'd like you to agree with me, please.
No, I love it. I mean, let him run. I mean, I've been very reluctant to jump on the Bears bandwagon. I don't rate Trubisky, but he runs it excellently. He's got, as an offense, his legs are brilliant. Like, running, he's one of the best running quarterbacks we've seen, and and then they got Matt Nagy, who's one of the greatest, who looks like he is, that offensive mind, that even though the Chiefs don't seem to have missed a step, he seems to have taken a lot from his Chiefs days to the Bears. And then they have just got this great defense. I mean, don't forget about Akeem Hicks. Akeem Hicks is just destroying plays as well.
It's the two of them.
Destroying offensive. And I picked the Vikings to win this because I thought they'd be the better team.
Yeah, same.
And then, after watching the game, I was like, this was a matchup nightmare. Vikings got a terrible offensive line. They're not running the ball consistently. And they're having Mack and Hicks coming at them.
You can't run the ball against them. And I reckon I timed that you've got about 0.36 of a second to get the ball out of your hands before Mack's going to and Hicks are going to get in and get you. I mean, you just can't run at them. You can't do it. Dalvin Cook had nothing in this game whatsoever. You rotate Murray in, nothing. But he's been brilliant this season for us again. Cook's still finding his feet, I understand that. Like, you know, he's coming back from the injury. Thielen, we couldn't get into the game, but I'm pretty certain that was a game plan thing as well. Obviously having Stephon Diggs missing for the previous game before the bye, I always thought we'd go heavy on Stephon Diggs in this game, and we did do, and he was good, and he was a shining light in that. And obviously you're probably banking on the Bears schematically trying to take Thielen out of the game anyway, so I always felt we'd do that. The one thing that I've got at the moment, and my big issue with the Vikings, and you know, maybe this is unfair, is I really think we're missing Pat Shermer. I don't think DeFilippo is as good as Shermer was. And maybe it's because it'll take time. Maybe it's because it's his first year. Maybe it's because it's the quarterback's first year. But right now, we've taken a little bit of a step backwards. And that's really... And the defence isn't quite playing at that level either.
Yeah, but then the thing with DeFilippo is there's a lot of people arguing in Philadelphia they miss John DeFilippo. So everyone seems to be... I mean, when a coach goes, suddenly all your problems must be, oh, well, it's that coach, because the easy fix is...
He was the quarterback's coach in Philly, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He wasn't the offensive coordinator,
no,
so
Frank Reich was the offensive coordinator, but... Yeah, so I'm saying, there's people saying, well, maybe do they miss him? Does he miss... There's a lot of that, because, like, is the Giants offense very good? And,
no.
I mean, I know they beat the Bucks, but the Bucks threw about 12 turnovers or something stupid like that. It's the Bucks, no one's asked. So yeah, I think your offensive line's not very good.
No, yeah.
And that's an issue when your offensive line's not very good. I think the defense has taken a step back as well. And then last year they had the running game of McKinnon and Murray, and it was a great 1-2 punch that no one really seemed to be able to stop. That seems to have gone. So I just think the Vikings offense has come back to the pack. You're getting miracles. You seem to get miracles all the time last season. And then the defense isn't as good. And
the defence has been really good on third downs. I think they might even still be the best on third downs in the league. But it seems like we've gone more to that bend don't break style of defense, whereas we were just like 3 and out in teams every drive almost last season. And the big thing is people are picking on our linebackers. You know, they're trying to pass on them because they're big, they're strong, of course they are, and they're great at, you know, pressuring the quarterback, and you never know where the blitz is coming from, which is still exactly the same. But if you can get them one-on-one with like Anthony Barr or something like that, or Ben Gideon, they're just not able to go with these quick, slight guys in the middle of the field.
It's basically just sticking a slot receiver on Anthony Barr seems to be the answer. And
they'll keep doing it until we can stop it.
Yeah.
And we're not going to be able to stop it with Anthony Barr in there.
Yeah, I don't think he can stop it. And there's problems now with the Vikings. There was a time when we thought, well, maybe they are one of the great teams in the NFC, and now we're like, they're a good team. I no longer see them as a Super Bowl contender. I don't see them being able to keep up with the Saints or the Rams or anyone else of that caliber.
They gave me one good year. One.
You got that 1 year where you thought it was all going well.
It was going great. We were going to play Super Bowl in our own stadium. It was going to be magic.
I'm still disappointed. I think we'd have won that Super Bowl if we'd have played yous.
Yeah. Well, fuck yous. You've had enough of them, to be fair. Okay, have you changed your opinion on Mitch Trubisky, any?
I just, again, he's a much better runner. I've been saying he's Jake Locker. Alright, I'll give him credit. He's a much better runner than Jake Locker. Well, what these actually remind me of now is the last year's Jaguars with a much better offense. Mm-hmm. That defense is so good, and the quarterback can make plays with his legs.
He's got pieces as well, hasn't he?
And he's got pieces. Like, I still might be one. I'm still a big fan of Allen Robinson. Mm-hmm. I believe it's his poor quarterback play why he's been poor for 3 years or whatever it is now. It's because he's had Blake Bortles and Mitch Trubisky. It's not the best 2 quarterbacks in the world. But I think there's room for growth. I think he might become a consistent Alex Smith level quarterback with even better legs than Alex Smith. That's fine. When you've got a monster defense behind you, that is fine. That could potentially be enough to even win a Super Bowl.
No, it could be. And listen, I've always thought he was slightly better than you. Different opinions on him. He's got some good pieces. I really like that Tariq Cohen. I know we did a good job on him, but he's a difference maker for me, Tariq Cohen. Jordan Howard's still a good running back. You know, you got the pieces on the outside. I think he's got some good, tidy pieces and an offensive guru behind him who will get the best out of him. I would fear playing the Bears in the postseason. Anybody should fear them because that defense can shut anybody down, and that. You're right. You've nailed it there. They're this season's Jacksonville Jaguars. There is no better compliment to give them, and I think you've absolutely nailed that. You did just mention Alex Smith, and I think it's about time we did talk about him. A horrific injury. I mean, I can't. I think, but 2 of the most horrific things I saw on Sunday. Did you see that woman? What's her name? Who had the car crash in the Macau Grand Prix?
No, I don't follow motor racing at all.
Well, you don't need to follow motor racing to see this crash. That was horrific. And then what was just as horrific was Alex Smith was a double leg break.
Yeah.
I mean, poor lad, like.
But it was mad, all the parallels to Joe Tasman, 33s on your day, both on the 40-yard line, there was a couple of other just mad ones which, the same. It's interesting to me because I think this might make Alan Smith done. Because I think Alan Smith's best...
Alex?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm saying Alex. I'm just not speaking properly because for me, this is very early. For everyone else, this is the even. For me, this is very early. I think I always felt his best options was always when he ran the ball. I thought that was his best. That was when he was at his best and made the most plays because he obviously throwing it deep was never an option for him. And now with 2 leg breaks, I don't see how he comes back.
No, and you know what? I feel a bit for the Redskins fans as well, and the entire organisation, because I think they were onto something a little bit different this year. And I know they're never Super Bowl contenders. Don't get me wrong, but you could see a way where they can win games, and with Peterson, who has just kind of rolled back the clock a little bit, with Smith, who was out there to prove people wrong. I felt like they had a chance in every game they went into. Whereas now, I mean, if you're just going to give the ball to AP, it's going to be a lot easier to stop them.
Yeah, Colt McCoy's now going to take over that offense. And
he looked alright, to be fair.
He looked, apparently they're quite high on Colt McCoy, but I can still remember watching him for the Browns, so I'm not. Browns cast-off quarterbacks don't tend to do well anywhere else.
Okay.
But I think me and Steve broke down the NFC East and what we thought was going to happen. And I said to him, and this was before Smith's injury, and I went, would you be surprised if Redskins found a way to lose every game from now on? And the answer was
done it.
Not really.
They've basically done it already.
When
did you say this last week?
Yeah.
You absolutely jinxed it, man.
The answer was not really. And I think it just reopens that NFC East up because there's nothing. I think all the teams.
Dallas looks like they're starting to a little bit of a roll, though.
Yeah, they might get a roll and go 9-7 and win the division and get blown out in the playoffs because they're not a good team. Because no one in the NFC East is a good team.
That Van Der Esch is a decent linebacker, and I quite like him actually.
I do.
He's looking very good at the moment.
I'm saying they got a good defense, but I don't think they got much else.
No, I mean your offense is literally Ezekiel Elliott still. But you know what? Yeah. He's a very good player, and he can. Steamroll a team.
I mean, I can't give them the abuse I usually give because I now think they're going to the playoffs because I think the division's that bad.
Yeah, no, that's high praise there from Jenno.
That's high praise for me and the Cowboys.
That's as nice as he's going to get. So should we get into some of the weekly pick'em stuff then, mate?
Yeah.
Let's start with the Thursday. Oh, it's Thanksgiving. That's why we're filming early. It's thrown me entire week off here. The 3 games. 3 games on Thanksgiving. Thanks be for that. We've got the Bears, Lions, the Redskins, Cowboys. That's a great Thanksgiving game, of course. And the Falcons, Saints. Historically.
Historically, yeah, too bad. Yeah, no.
Bears at Lions. TDJ.
I'm going for the Bears.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting that Lions keep beating good teams and they get beat by everyone else.
Yeah. Do you think this is one of those games where the snow practice will really help out Matt Patricia?
It might be.
You know what? I love the fact that he's just gone, fuck yous all, I'm doing it my way, and we won the game anyway. Shut up.
Yeah. I do love the way they asked him, well, falling on snow is better for you than falling on artificial turf anyway, you fucking idiot. I actually quite like Matt Patricia, the head coach, because he's got a little bit of the Bill Belichick but instead of Bill Belichick just going, what a stupid question, he actually answers with like a biting comment back, and I'm like, yeah. Like, I loved it when he called out the guy who was like lying down, slouched in his shirt and asking questions, being a snark. He asked him, sit up and talk to me properly. I'd love it.
Yeah, no, why wouldn't you? I mean, I've gone Bears as well. I think they're going to eat the Lions apart.
Okay, Keyshawn Johnson also got injured, so that's going to be a massive problem.
Redskins at Cowboys. I'm afraid on a short week, I don't give the Redskins any chance here.
No, I think the Cowboys will win.
Yeah. Falcons at Saints. The inconsistent, I think it's fair to say, Atlanta Falcons against what I think is the best team of football.
What I think is going to win the Super Bowl, I think it's going to be the Saints. I don't think this game's going to be close. No,
this could be... Well, Drew Brees is getting taken out of the game again with 10 minutes spare. Oh, while we're talking about the Saints, did you read the Peter King article? Is it This Morning in America it's called now, on Monday or something?
You know what? I had that lined up to read in work last night, and I was like, I'll get a chance to read that. That game between the Rams and the thing, he went on so long, I didn't get a chance to read it. It
was absolutely superb. If you've not read Peter King's Monday column, go and check it out. I mean, if you've heard of us and are watching us and you haven't read Peter King, like, stop watching us and just go and read Peter King because you're doing it all wrong.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, this is just backwards.
We just take the piss and have a laugh. Read some actual football knowledge.
Yeah, so Peter King is, in my opinion, the best there is regarding the game. And he had access prior to the Saints game, the Saints blowout game this weekend. It was obviously against the Philadelphia Eagles. They were doing a run through the first 15 plays in a ballroom in the Carlton Ritz, I think it was, something like that. And Peter King was there and was able to ask questions and soak it up and see how the game planned and see how they had the meetings and see how Breeze and Payton put that game plan together. And it's just an absolutely fantastic article. What I love about it more than anything else is Sean Payton doesn't give a flying fuck who's in there because they can't understand what the plays are anyway. And B, he'll change it next week and it's all for now anyway.
Yeah.
And that's what Sean Payton does.
It goes week to week, so it doesn't make a difference. Like, I did see the play where the spread both Breeze and Taysom Hill out and then Taysom Hill quickly and just went, yeah, that's what we do. You'll never see us do that again.
Well, you will. But you'll see Drew Brees
will get it. Yeah, and probably be like a shovel past the hill, and they're, well, what are you going to do about
so
that?
he said so, and there's no quarterback in the backfield. I mean, we had this discussion, was it 3 weeks ago? I've missed a couple of weeks, haven't we, about the best offensive mind in the league. I stand by what I said. I do think it's Sean Payton still.
I think I was a little bit disrespectful when I said it was Sean McVay rather than Sean Payton. The fact that I dismissed him, I'm not saying it is not Sean McVay, but I think the dismissal of Sean Payton when you brought him up was a little bit disrespectful. But I just think the Saints are incredible, and I do love the way Payton just goes, oh, fuck off. If you want to see it, you can see it. You can't stop us anyway.
Yeah, that's it. And the pieces that he's got and the players, Kamara, I mean, Ingram, just Thomas. I mean,
even that the rookie wide receiver they drafted starting to make in Hills, his name's, is it Smith?
I'm not sure, I can't remember.
Yeah, I think that's what his name is. Even he's blew for like 100 yards last game. Stop that offense.
Mate, you can't, and they're a well-rounded side. And my criticism of Sean Payton, and I think I said this last year on the show, is that I didn't think he was a very good head coach. And that was my issue with him. I didn't respect him as a head coach, because how many years have they had just a shit defence for? And, I think he needed to address that. What I will say is, Sean McVay might be a better head coach than Sean Payton, because Sean McVay's clever enough to go and get Wade Phillips.
Yeah.
Whereas Sean Payton was dealing with some absolute no marks and divvies, and Greg Williams was there and all kinds.
Well, they won the Super Bowl with Greg Williams.
Yeah, no, I know, but I think they should have won more Super Bowls with Drew Brees and the offense that they've always managed and always seemed to have. And I never gave him too much credit on the offensive side of things, because he never got the running game going.
Yeah. I think we got this in this running game that they got now. We've got what they had in 2007 when they had Deuce McAllister and Reggie Bush. They got a great 1-2 punch, and no one can stop it. It also means Drew Brees doesn't have to throw 60 times.
What I couldn't ever understand is, why did it take him 10 years to get that back? You know what I mean? It always felt like it was just a massive oversight for me. I was like, you've got one of the best quarterbacks that's ever been, but there's literally no running game there, and you become one-dimensional, even though you're still so difficult. Yeah, that's the great thing. That's why he's so good. They were one-dimensional, and he was still getting 5,000-yard seasons.
There was a point where they just looked like the only option was throw to Jimmy Graham for 50 yards for a touchdown, and that never seemed to be able to stop. So, no. I don't know.
Anyway, they're going to beat the Falcons. We spent far too much time on
Sorry.
It's okay. We're absolutely fine, because we've got the Raiders up next, and they're playing at the Baltimore Ravens.
Raiders won last week, so of course I'm going Ravens.
Lamar Jackson to rush for 100 yards. I nearly went 150.
100 yards, but to make less than 20 runs.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good solid shout. And then we've got the Jacksonville. They reinvigorated after one win, 6 losses. 6 losses and 1 win, I think it was, in that order. They reinvigorated, run heavy, Leonard Fournette led Jacksonville Jaguars versus the 3-7 Buffalo Bills.
Jaguars, maybe.
You know what, mate? They were playing Jaguars football again last week.
Yeah, see, me and Steve said this, like, don't be surprised if the Jaguars don't just somehow pull out a win against the Steelers, because that's what they've done over the last couple of years. They've had that number, sometimes just have a matchup which doesn't suit you, and they look like they were back to that.
They did, until about 5 minutes left of the fourth quarter.
In the fourth quarter, Ben picked them apart, and
I mean, I was watching that one, and I remember thinking to myself, Jalen Ramsey has just had you on toast here, Ben. And all the comments that you've made in the media, he's proven right. And then Big Ben steps up and goes and wins the game.
He picked on him at the end as well. That was the surprise. I think he picked on Ramsey in the fourth quarter after Ramsey played so well. So, I don't know. They're not good, and they're not. The other one's not even worth talking about.
Okay. Seahawks at Panthers, 2 in-form sides. Panthers are at home. I'm going to go with the away side here. I like this Seattle Seahawks side again. I think Pete Carroll's done an incredible job to get them back to where they are. And, the defence isn't going to be the same as it was, don't get me wrong. But they've got a rushing attack. They look very good in that department. Russell Wilson's getting time in the pocket. And they're looking dangerous. Is it Tyler Lockhart? How'd you say it, Lockhart? and Doug Baldwin both had big days last time out. And if they can continue to get production from those two and the running game, then the defence is good enough to beat teams.
Yeah, I mean, means again, one of the shows you missed, we talked about the Panthers coming up the hill. Like, you need to watch out for the Panthers. They've lost the last 2 games.
Just bad jinx.
Just bad jinx, clearly. Well, they lost, and my problem with them is I said I don't think they can come back. I said I don't think that they're built to come back from behind. So if they go behind early to the Seahawks, I think that'll be a win. But my pick'em's going on the Panthers. I think they need to. I think they're good enough to still be in that playoff mix.
Okay, I mean, I do disagree with you because I picked the Seahawks. What I find interesting here is that Seattle were 4-5 going into last week, and it was make or break for them. And they obviously come away with the win against Green Bay, don't they? And I thought they were very, very good in that regard. They kind of are already playing playoff football, and the Panthers losing those 2 games on the bounce, for me, is a mentality thing that they need to get over this game. So it's either going to go one way, of course it's going to go one of 2 ways. You're going to be right or I'm going to be right.
Nah, it could be a tie.
It could be a tie. Let's hope it's not. But what I'm trying to drive at here is that the Panthers, they need to be in the mode that Seattle Seahawks were in last week. And are they going to be able to get up for that? Of course they probably can. It's going to be an interesting thing to see how they bounce back anyway.
Yeah, my only other take on the Panthers is, if you're going for a 2-point conversion, just run Cam Newton. Just run him. Just whatever you do, have a run bootleg. If it's not there, just say run straight.
You're bigger, you're stronger.
you're bigger, faster. You're stronger. And cornerbacks don't want to tackle you.
Yeah, I must admit, Panthers fans must have had their heart in their mouth when he went off injured in the last game. Like, I mean, that's their season over if that was to happen. So the 3-6-1 Browns versus the 5-5 Bengals at the Bengals.
I'm going to go Bengals.
Yeah, same here, mate.
It's a very Bengals win now.
7-3 Patriots at the 3-7 New York Jets.
Patriots.
Yeah. 3-7 Giants at the 4-6 Eagles. This is
actually a hard game to pick because the Eagles look terrible and the Giants' offense is starting to click a little bit against really bad teams. Luckily for them, the Eagles look like a bad team. I'm going Eagles. I just hate the Giants.
I am going Eagles as well, and I was keeping a close eye on this Philadelphia Eagles game up until I fell asleep very late. But Wentz was, I mean, just eaten alive. He was fucking terrible, and I had him in one of my fantasy teams. That's why I was watching it so intently, like, because I think my 2 quarterbacks in that league are something like Brady and Wentz, and obviously he's on a bye, so I had no choice. But I was happy. I was like, yeah, you know what, that'll be fine. He'll get a few points. He got me like 0.8 of a fucking point at quarterback. You know what I mean? He was shocking. What are you playing at? Don't you know how important fantasy football is to us?
Not really to me. I won it once, and then I've not paid that much attention ever since.
You're in our league?
I am very mediocre in our league. I am the Marvin Lewis of our league.
The guy you hate. Amazing. So we're going 2-8, 49ers, 3-7 Bucks. Jameis Winston was back in the game.
Yeah.
At the weekend.
But Fitzmagic as well and truly run out.
Black Friday sale gone, all sold.
Yeah.
Winston back in, looked all right actually.
Yeah, but then he also had a couple of turnovers by fumbling it, like, because it's Winston.
That's what he does.
I mean, basically the Bucks, they're gonna have to clean house, clean cutter, get rid of the GM, get rid of all the quarterbacks, and just start again. So, leave Tampa as well. Tampa's not a good place for an American football team.
On that basis, who are you picking in this game?
I've got who even playing.
49ers.
Oh, God knows.
At the Bucks.
At the Bucks.
That was your next question, wasn't it? Who's at home? It's how I split them.
I'm going 49ers.
Why not? I'm going Bucks. I don't think we need to spend too long on this. Arizona Cardinals at the Chargers.
Well, Chargers are another one who I was like, oh, look how well they're doing. And
then just a terrible jinx.
Well, I also picked them to go to the Super Bowl and they're doing much better than everyone else thought they would. I'm going Chargers. I think Rosen can't move. So playing against Ingram and Bosa not being able to move, that sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Gordon, Rivers, Antonio Gates still making catches. I mean, I don't know what
Williams,
the else coming
Allen.
I mean, yeah, they're going to blow them out the water, to be fair. This is a really interesting one, though. The 5-5 Dolphins going at the 5-5 Indianapolis Colts. Colts are looking good in an offensive sense. They are on a bit of a roll right now.
Colts got the best offensive, well, after the Steelers, the best offensive line in the league. Andrew Luck hasn't been sacked now in about 5 games. This is the most un-Colts-like thing I've ever known.
It's ridiculous. Since when did the Colts not let Andrew Luck just get sacked all the time?
Yeah, and Andrew Luck now as well doesn't extend plays with his legs. He just goes, alright, it's maybe better if I just don't get hit. Very clever way to play football.
And you know what? It's exactly what I would do. I mean, imagine us in the pocket and these big guys coming at you. I'd be crouching over every
I'd be looking for my big nasty centre and I'd be under him like that.
I'm liking the Colts at the moment.
I am. I mean, they may go and steal the South. That they looked that good.
And there's no questions over Luck's arm strength at the moment as well. T.Y. Hilton is, as he always has been, a top wide receiver.
Yeah, someone might have said he was
got
done.
A bit of a running game. Someone might have said he was done. Yeah. Did you? Oh, mate.
It didn't go very well. No, the Colts look very good team. I can't see it now. I think the Dolphins are crap. I know the 5-5. I still think they're crap.
Steelers against the Broncos. I owe Mike Tomlin an apology for saying he's like the worst coach side in football when they were like 2-2-1 and then now like 7-2-1.
We all bought the sky has fallen narrative, didn't we? Me and you felt very hard.
Time, mate. I was there on my back going, it's falling down. And apparently it wasn't. Apparently Mike Tomlin is a great coach and can rally his troops. James Conner wasn't great at the weekend. That Jacksonville Jaguars defence obviously did a little bit of a number on him. His first game obviously with the Bell stuff all done and forgotten about. Slight concern there, probably not. I think the Steelers are going to absolutely tramp the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I don't think the Broncos are good. Chargers can't seem to play. I've lost 12-15, so I don't know why we thought Chargers would beat them, but I think the Steelers are just a much better team. I think that offense, no one knows really how to stop it properly, because when Ben got rolling, you got Juju Smith, you got Antonio Brown, you got Vance McDonald, and then you got
Vance McDonald doesn't even use that much, and he's boss like him.
He's used the same way Heath Slater is. It's just when you need that third down, short yardage, just throw it up to him. It's fine. Their offenses is great. I can't see anything but a Steelers win. Come on, Broncos.
And then the big one on Sunday night. Yes. Packers Vikings at Minnesota. I'm saying it right here, right now. The Vikings are going to beat the Packers.
If the Vikings win, do the Packers sack McCarthy?
The Vikings are going to draw with the Packers. So Mike McCarthy keeps his job.
Oh, I said Mick McCarthy, didn't
I did as well, mate.
Do you think would Mike McCarthy be as sexy if he put his eyebrows to the camera like that?
I don't think the Packers are an organisation that would sack him now. I think they'll wait until the end of the season.
Yeah, but surely the writing's got to be on the wall.
Oh, it is. Absolutely. I fully agree with that. I don't think that you can see just by looking at Rodgers that he hates him. Yeah. Thinks he's shit. Thinks he should be the head coach. Probably not far wrong.
Do you know what wouldn't surprise? I was just thinking about this then. Do you know if they sack Mike McCarthy? Do you think they go for Adam Gase?
I don't know.
Yeah, just putting it out there. Packers fans, would you like Adam Gase to be head coach? Because I don't know whether Adam Gase is good or not. I still haven't decided.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. I mean...
Just dropped it on you, haven't I?
Yeah, I don't know who they go for. Could they go for a defensive coach?
Well, that's the other thing. Do you go for a defensive coach and then let Rodgers just run his offense?
Yeah. I mean... Get someone like that. Who was the guy who used to run Manning's offense? The really old guy, white hair. Gave Manning 2 plays. He was a great offensive coordinator for Manning at the Colts. oh, what's the guy's name? I've completely steered now. Damn it, why isn't Steer? But, you know, just a steady pair of hands as the offensive coordinator who's going to go and let a quarterback go and run the offense and get a fucking defense in and actually give Rodgers a chance at another couple of Super Bowls. That's what I would do. I wouldn't go offensive. You got the coordinator on the fucking field. You need a fucking good game manager as well, because hang on. Mike McCarthy's shit. What are you fucking punting for there, you douchebag?
Are you not watching the NFL? There's no point in punting anymore. There's no point in doing kick after touchdowns. There's no point in punting. Go for two and throw it. This is Madden now. That's the world we live in. It's Madden rules, because that's what the Saints are so good at. The Saints just go, what, fourth down? Fuck it, we'll just go for it. Stop us again. And it's so hard to stop things from getting 10 yards in 4 attempts.
Was it Tom Moore?
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to check it now. Right, while I check that, then Jenno, we've got one more game to go. It's the 5-5 Titans at the 7-3 Houston Texans. Who are you going for? Is it Tom Moore?
This is the actual other team of jinx. So I started to jump back on the Titans bandwagon. So obviously the Texans are going to absolutely smoke them, because that's what happens. When I watching the way the Titans beat the Patriots, they show me a lot to make me think that they're actually a good team, and then watching them get absolutely housed by the Colts, it was the ultimate jinx. Marcus Mariota, I don't think people realise that sacks are usually the QB's fault. I don't think they realise enough that sacks are the QB's fault, and Mariota gets sacked a lot. Yeah.
Just for anyone who gives a shit, it was Tom Moore. Who was, and he's 80 years old now, so not him, but somebody who's going to let him. I think the Texans are going to win, and that's enough for this show. Then, Tom, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and we'll see you next time on Cover 2 TV. Ta-ra. That is a concern.
Yeah. Just as I start talking about the Titans, stars are flashing.